This is my forever world, something I've been working on in the background for a little while now. As we walk through my farming area, you'll notice that I've built myself a windmill. There's also a house and cow farm, and off in the distance you can see a tower that I've built for my enchantment table. But as there's no buildings inside the ocean at the moment, my shoreline is looking really quite boring, and today I want to try and change that by building myself a boat. And the spot I've chosen for the boat is just out here, so that this way we get a good view of the shoreline and of course the house and windmill in the background. But arguably the most important part of a boat is its sails, and we're going to be using wool to build those, and I don't have any wool, so we need to go and get ourselves some sheep. Currently we only have cows in the farm, so let's hope they don't mind some woolly neighbours moving in. Oh perfect, we've just found our first sheep and we're actually not too far from the base, so that's a good start. I hadn't even thought about that. Actually, this is quite good. We've found some flowers. Let's just collect all of these up because we can then use them for making dye, which we can then use to turn the sails red. And there's the second one, perfect. Okay, we've got both the sheep we need to start the farm. Wait, where did the other sheep go? It doesn't matter, I'll just find it off camera. Okay, so I found the other sheep, and with both sheep now in tow, we're almost back at the farm. And I'm probably just going to throw them over the fence, if I'm honest. I don't think I'm going to try and squeeze them through the gap, just because I don't think they'll fit. Yeah, so I reckon we can just steal a few dirt from this bit here, and then if we just place them down, yeah, we can just throw these sheep straight over the top. Okay, so I bred these guys, and I'm already realising with just 4 sheep that there's not enough land here, that the grass is turning to dirt. We need to build a dedicated sheep farm. But luckily, I think I know just the spot. Now, if you didn't already know, sheep actually like both pastures and grasslands, and also hills and mountains, so the area right next to our windmill is just perfect for them. And just to make sure that they definitely have enough space, I've taken out all of the trees in the area, and we're going to start making this a bit more secure, just so the sheep don't just run off. Now in my forever world, a lot of the walls around farmland is very chaotic. It uses a lot of like cobbly kind of blocks, a lot of fences, a lot of slabs, and just all over the place. This is kind of inspired by a trip I took to the Peak District, and I really like the idea that it's so natural feeling, it's not just a square box, and I think I'm going to continue that for the sheep. The only thing I've got to be careful of is every space has to be more than a block tall, because otherwise the sheep are just going to jump out. So where I want to put just a 1 block tall kind of thing, I'll probably just use a wall. That way they definitely can't get out, and then obviously we can use slabs or more wall blocks actually on top of the cobblestone blocks, and that will just give it the extra height it needs to stop any of the sheep from escaping. And now that I've started building this, I think that this is the perfect kind of size. When I started clearing the area, I did think that maybe we should push this mountain back even more and then have more of the hilltop for them to kind of graze on. But I think that would just create too much space, where I kind of quite like that it's a small enclosed area as well. There's plenty of space for the sheep, but then there's plenty of space for us to do other things around it, meaning that anything new that we build isn't going to be too far away from our base. And with that all done, all we need to do now is lug those sheep back up the hill and into the new sheep farm. It doesn't look like this guy wants to come along though, so I think we'll just leave him here for a minute, and we'll just take the other guys straight up there. Okay, cool, we got those in, and now we just have to shear them. So I think we should be good for the wool now to build those sails. However, we're lacking the amount of spruce wood that we need, and as you can kind of see here, I've absolutely decimated my spruce farm. So what we're going to do is we're going to head down to my skeleton grinder, we're going to get some bone meal, and then we're going to grow ourselves some trees and get some more spruce. Okay, so we're back up at the spruce area, and I'm not actually entirely sure how much spruce we need, so I'm just going to gather a whole bunch of it and hopefully that will be enough. You know what, I've had a slight change of mind. I do like the sheep farm, but I think it just needs a little bit more decoration to it. So I think I'm just going to add some vegetation using the spare bone meal that we have left over, and hopefully this should just liven up the sheep pen a little bit more. Okay, enough with the sheep farm, we need to actually get on with the boat, seeing as that's what the video title's going to be. Let's head down to the shore, and yeah, I guess there's no boats actually out here. I know where there is one. There's one in the unfinished area around here. And yeah, we'll just go out into the ocean and we'll start building this boat. Okay, so it's not going to be the biggest boat in the world, but I know that it's got to be decently long. I guess it's really got to stand out on that shoreline amongst everything else that's going on. But if I get the basic structure in, then we can kind of get an idea of if we're happy with it or not. The thing is with boats, they just need to keep layering out, so they just need to keep expanding and get wider and wider. So yeah, we're just going to use some stairs to create support beams for that, and I think I'm going to be using some spruce logs just to give it that trim around the edging. Okay, so I saw a really cool dragon style head to the front of a boat, and I think it was a design by Gold Robin. I'll put a link to his video in the description down below. But yeah, I'm going to recreate that on the front, and I think he did a really cool back end of it as well. So whilst I'm not going to copy it exactly, I'm taking heavy inspiration from him. I think for the deck though, we'll just cover that in oak planks. I think the changing colour will just give it that something it needs to kind of stand out. I think going all spruce the entire way would be a bit of a mistake, as it would just look a bit samey. And that's already looking so much better, just having the differences in tone. Oh, just gotta quickly move the crafting table and barrel out the way. Oh, and the bed of course. We'll just fill in the rest of the deck with the oak plank. And of course we'll have to move this stair at the bottom of the dragon's head. And whilst I think that's the body of the ship mainly completed, we're now going to have to go upwards and start work on the sail. And whilst I'm building this sail, I'm just going to bear in mind that I want the wind to blow towards the coastline. I only say that because one of my other buildings also has a flag blowing in that direction, so it just makes sense that there's kind of consistent wind within the world. And that's the basic structure of the flag. I'm not going to build like a proper crow's nest, as nice as that would be, but I am just going to tidy the top up and just make it look nice. Please just ignore how bad I am at actually using scaffolding. I've never really got into it and I keep on misplacing or falling into things. Yeah, like that. Where is that scaffolding going? But having said that, I think that's pretty much the entire sail done as well now. So we've got the ship body and the sail, and I think we're going to add some shields around the edging. We're going to probably use some mangrove, because I've got quite a lot of that left over, and obviously I've got loads of birch, so we'll probably do mangrove and birch interchanging, using some stairs to just build those shields around the edges. I think these look really cool, especially given that the sail is red and white. The red and almost off-white shields, they're perfect for the colour scheme. And yeah, this really ties the boat together. I think that's the ship build done. So in actual fact, that kind of rounds off the episode there, guys. We've of course built ourselves a ship off the shoreline just to kind of liven up that coast. And of course, we built ourselves a sheep farm where all the sheep can graze happily. And I'm sure that all the wool that I get from it will be really helpful for all of the projects that I come up with in the future. If you enjoyed watching this video, please subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.